right, everybody. New week, new episode. This is like crazy what you're about to hear in this episode, but I wanted to give you guys a business update. I've written down my little things to mention on a podcast note because I feel like there needs to be some permission given around. I feel like people need permission to do this, and this is a lot of things to jam on. So I have been full time properly running my business since let's say the middle of 2018. And I wasn't making bank middle 2018. I started to make bank bank as in I think I had my first like 10ish K month like the maybe like February or March, I don't know, of 2019. I can't remember the date. Anyway, I started making money though in 2019, like a lot of money. Um, and obviously now I make even more. But back then I was like, oh my God. And it's still like shitloads of money. And I'm still very proud of myself. And even if I was making that now, I'd be like, wow. If anyone's making that now, it's wow. Um, anyway, so since 20 end of 2018, I think I hired my first assistant, and it was like just a couple hours a week. Wasn't anything really, really proper, but it was just helpful. And then 2019, I'm going to say like it was definitely towards the end of 2019. I hired like around maybe August-ish. I hired my next assistant. So I like let go of the first one, hired another assistant who started off as an intern. And she was great. And it just ended up not really working out. And we don't need to go into that. Point being is since like, let's say the end of 2019, I have had help and I have had people doing things for me. So for over 3 years. And whilst that has been fantastic, it has also meant that in those 3 years, I didn't realize what I was missing doing in my business. So when I was traveling around Europe in 2019, I still remember it to this day, I was doing everything by myself and I fucking loved it. I was, I had really productive days because I had to. You know that saying around, if you want a job done, give it to the busiest person in the room. I am literally the epitome of that. As in, the busier I am, the more work I get done. As in, like, the more productive I am. Now, obviously, I don't want to be like burnt out. That's a line, but I do like having quite a few things to be doing because it actually makes me more inspired, more creative, more in flow. This does not mean that I'm really am I masculine or hustling. It's not that at all, and I obviously don't advocate for that. But I just noticed that because I was because everyone else is doing everything for me, I was actually starting to feel kind of disconnected from the essence of my business. If you're watching the video, I'm not about to cry. I just yawned. So my eyes have gone red. I almost felt like I was disconnected from the essence and the purpose and the reason why I started my business. I felt like I lost that version of me that I had in 2019 when I was like traveling Europe, working, like so driven, making a lot of money. I haven't gone downhill since that from hiring people. I've gone up, way up since that. But I mean, the energy and the version of myself, I feel like I forgot her because I got into this routine of running a business rather than doing what felt good. So having all of these team members was great because all of the SOPs, which are system operating processes, were set up. A lot of things became streamlined. There were processes for everything. Like, it's not confusing or messy, which takes a lot, obviously, already off the plate. But as things became more and more streamlined, it became like, this is what I realized within myself recently, is that the more people I have fucking wanting me, and the more communication channels I have open, the more drained I feel and the more resentful I get. So when I have, team members texting me all day, asking me questions, it's just like, I want to throw the towel in. Not actually, but like, it's just like a lot. I find it a lot when I'm already communicating with people all day for work, as in like my clients, and then I have team members at me all the time. So that was happening. A lot of mistakes started to be made because I don't know what the fucking reason was. I can assume it was because trust was broken and they felt, or that person felt like, she would have felt that the trust was broken. And so she wasn't aware of things falling through the cracks. I also kind of found out the trust was really broken by me paying her a full-time salary and I'm very sure she wasn't working full-time. I was asking for things to be done multiple times and things not getting done. And I realized that and this isn't actually, I'm not trying to like blame this person, by the way, at all, or any of my team members that I've let go of recently. What I realized was that because I was passing everything off, I felt like I didn't know what was fully going on in the business, that I wasn't in control of everything. And I felt like I lost the bird's eye view of knowing everything that was happening, knowing where everybody was, what clients I had, who's coming in, what emails are there. I'd lost that connection to everything. And I was solely focused on just my clients. And whilst that is a good thing for some people, it wasn't serving me. It was making me feel like I didn't know what was going on. And it was making me feel frantic. And it was making me not manage things as well as I could because I didn't even fucking know what was going on anyway. And I was trusting people too much that things weren't getting done to the caliber whatever, that I wanted them to get done in, if that makes sense. So I fired everybody. Yep, you heard it right. I fired everyone, let everybody go. And I have started doing everything myself again. Absolutely everything, every email, every onboarding, every offboarding, every IT issue, every like, I don't know how to log into this, every customer service email, every DM, every post on my Instagram stories is me. Every single fucking thing I am doing again. And it has been a lot. I will admit it's obviously been a lot, but what's the most interesting for me, and I knew this was going to happen, which is why I did it, is that I've also felt less stressed, a little bit of overwhelm. I've also felt less stressed because I know everything's been getting done to the way that it needs to get done. And I know every single thing that is going on in the business. Now, there are obviously been some things that I've had to change and adjust because I'm like, I literally cannot do this all. Like, for example, with the magazine, I'm making that now after this next issue. It's coming out end of April, which is going to be a great issue for spring. I'm making it now a quarterly magazine. One, we fill it with way more content, which is great because we can have more contributors in it. And then, each contributor gets more cross promotion, which is fantastic. If you want to be a writer or a contributor, please let me know. And that's obviously had to happen because I can't do it all myself. So there's been things that have had to be adjusted. And obviously I nearly had to run the event myself, but luckily my amazing man came to the event and did everything that he could possibly do. And it was just the best experience ever having those. And a couple of ladies actually said this as well on my Instagram post, but like having the men in the room was super healing and just like very protective. And then also because I had my boyfriend there and then he was doing all like the man things and just allowing me to be fully in flow by him leading everything. And then we had his friend who's a great videographer as well. And they are both very empathetic, but very masculine men. So it was just really beautiful to have their energy there. Anyway, so there was a lot of things that became frantic a little bit quickly, with all the event stuff and it all happened very much at once. And at the same time, I'm obviously trying to juggle my personal life, not juggle, I'm trying to, grow my personal life. And I have a lot of visa stuff to deal with right now. With not being a citizen of the US and living here, it's not the easiest thing in the world. It's very, very challenging. So there's been moments where I felt very overwhelmed, but the overwhelm's actually been for my personal life. it hasn't been from like it's been from visa shit is what it's been from. It hasn't been from work stuff because I know what I'm doing with work. And that's what I really needed to come back to of like, I know what I'm doing. I don't need help right now. I'm in a season where I don't need help. And having someone that is constantly trying to communicate with me and need me is actually causing me to have more disconnection from my business than more connection. So that's been really great actually to just be doing everything myself again. And what it has allowed me is that it has allowed me to come back to basics. It's allowed me to remember the basic things that grew my business to where it, now is. And it's also most importantly allowed me to reevaluate what I actually want to hand off and how I actually want to hand it off. So I'm now trialing a new woman to be on the team. And the way that I am like her job role is going to be very, very different to what I've done before, because I've realized through a lot of trial and error and through these, all the assistance and help that I've had, whether it's been assistance, whether it's been like contracted people on for like certain projects, it's allowed me to realize what works for me, how I need things to operate and how I need things to operate in order for it to be the most successful. So having someone constantly text me is now a no fucking go because it does not work. It just creates me being avoidant and nothing gets done. So instead, for example, we're having more meetings because I can focus for an hour, give them all my attention. It can be done. The communication channel is closed. They keep working and I don't need to fucking hear about it until the next meeting. And anything urgent, obviously they can text me about, but that's been working really, really well. So I am trialing somebody new, but I'm also slowly onboarding them. Instead of having to fully onboard them, I'm slowly giving them things that I am like, okay, I know what part of this I want to keep doing because it makes me feel connected to my business and the purpose. And then I know what I can hand off. And I'm going to show you exactly how it needs to be done. For example, and we're going to have a meeting to make sure that it is done correctly so that she's learning, but more so that I also know what is going on all the time. And I am not over giving, I'm not like over giving leadership, if that makes sense. Like, oh, just send the email, whatever. I don't have to check it. Or, oh, just, post it. I don't like just post the magazine. I don't need to check it. Like all those kind of things, or just fully trusting someone to get the job done. The reality is that if they are not running the business, they're probably going to forget things because their brain isn't fully it's not their baby. My brain is always thinking about business stuff because it's my fucking baby. But if it's not somebody else's baby, they are not thinking about the business in the same way that you are, and they're not as invested in the business the same way that you are. So you want to make sure that you are managing and overseeing everything. And I've realized that texting isn't doing it for me. It does not work, but having regular meetings does. So came back to basics, rehiring very slowly. And this rehiring is like very specific rehiring rather than just trying to like take shit off my plate. It's like, well, that's great to take things off your plate, but is it actually helping the business by taking that off your plate and helping you, or is it creating more disconnect because you're just like trying to do less in your job, if that makes sense? Because for some people that might work, but me doing less caused me to feel less motivated as well. So that's just a really important thing, and like less creative. So that's a really important thing. And doing all of this is allowing me to make sure that I am keeping a high touch point, because I did that very, 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 very well in the beginning of my business. And I'll admit it kind of slipped. The more that I hired, the more that I gave my assistants, the ones over the years, a responsibility to do onboarding, offboarding, answering questions, whatever for me. Whilst it took things off my plate, I lost that high touch point. And I am all about the high touch point. I am all about getting the results. I am all about that. That's why I can't just do I can't just make everything evergreen with my trauma stuff. Like my moral compass is so fucking strong. And that strength also is missing a little bit lately in my touch point. So I've also increased that. And it's allowed me to feel so much more connected again into my business. And it's allowed me to feel like these new people that are going to come in are really going to excel and expand everything and help me, rather than just cause me more stress because it's more pathways of communication in my brain, if that makes sense. I think my editor just texted me. Hold on a second. Oh, yeah. Anyway, so they are the business updates. Crazy. Never thought I would do this, but also it's been a really good thing that I'm doing and I'm continuing to do it. Maybe some of you have noticed the changes already. It was really hard to let team members go. Really, really hard. It's never easy firing anybody, especially when they've been a part of your business for a long time. And especially when they have done a lot of good things and a lot of good for the business. But sometimes relationships have to end. Sometimes things just have to come to an ending for whatever reason. It does not matter. But yeah, I didn't do this because everyone was shit at their job. There were some people that were shit at their job. I did this because this is what I needed. And things were really slipping through the cracks. And I felt like it was allowing me to take that leap that I'd kind of been feeling for a while of like, you know what? I can actually do this all myself because I'm doing it all myself whilst they're still technically working for me. So that was what allowed me to kind of take that leap of faith. And I'm glad that I did. And it was also a reminder of like, I can fucking do it all. I can fucking do it all. Okay. I haven't watched TV for about 3 weeks, but it's fine because I haven't watched TV, but I'm still getting plenty of feminine energy. Trust me on that one. I have been working more hours and I've also felt less subconsciously stressed and I felt less, I haven't felt pulled as in many, I haven't felt, actually that's a lie, I have, but like more because of other things, not work. I haven't felt frustrated at job stuff and business stuff because I'm the one that's doing it all, which has meant that I know what's going on, things are being done properly, and I feel like mistakes and shit isn't coming up as much. So anyway, I'm trying to like say this in a way where I'm like not saying this in the incorrect way. So I don't know whether some of this is a bit wordy and hard to understand, but I wanted to give you guys a business update. Maybe it's permission for some of you guys to do the same. And oh yeah, what I wanted to also say is I feel like in the coaching space, it's like you've made it if you have like 3 assistants, or you've made it if you have a full fucking team. And I just want to let you know that I'm making millions and I now have no one working for me right now. Well, I'm trialing somebody, but for the last month and a half, I had nobody working for me. I ran that whole event and no one was working for me, like as in no assistant or anything like that. So I feel like it's this thing where people feel like you should have an assistant. And if you haven't hired out stuff, like you're failing or you're not a good enough coach, you're not making enough money. And it's like cool to have a team. And I get it. Like it feeds your ego of like, oh, I have an assistant. Like it seems cool. And I get that. And it can make you seem more professional, or it can make you seem like you have a more serious business. But I also want to say that the reason why you're running your business, and I hope so, is for the results of your clients. And if there is a disconnect, or if they are feeling less connected because of the way that your business is structured, that is going to impact the amount of money that you make. So this is a permission piece where it's like, if you don't want to hire a fucking assistant and you want to do it yourself, that does not make you any less professional. It does not make you any less good at your job or any less of a, I'm killing it kind of woman. Man, you are still just as good at your job, even if you don't have an assistant working for you or like somebody working for you. So I just want to like preface that because I do feel like it's a lot of like an ego driven thing sometimes of like hiring, an assistant or whatever, or hiring team members. And then if you were to like not have anybody, like you're not killing it as much. Like it's cool to have team members and it's not cool to not. Well, I don't have anybody right now and I'm really enjoying it. I have to say, I'm really enjoying it and I'm enjoying being able to connect with more people over emails rather than it being passed off to other people. It's actually making me feel more connected to everybody again. And I realized how much I missed that. And that's been the biggest thing for me is I've been able to realize all the things that I missed doing in my business. And a lot of them are really basic basic things that I should, quote unquote, hand off, like invoicing, emailing, customer service, X, Y, and Z. And like fuck shoulds, as you guys know. And I've realized that doing them serves me energetically. Therefore, even with these new hires, I will continue to be doing customer service, invoicing, onboarding, offboarding, because that is important in the customer or the client's journey with me. And that's what I care about. And yeah, there is just a lot happening over the next few months. Please make sure that you're watching my Instagram stories and everything, because I have a big announcement that I will be making soon on my Instagram and mailing list and whatever else. But I'm going to announce it on an Instagram live. So keep a lookout over the next few weeks. I haven't figured out the exact date that I'm going to announce it, but I will be doing so soon. And it's pretty exciting and it's a big change in my life. And there is just so much wisdom and like teachings that I want to share with you guys about this new season of my life. So please make sure that you are checking out my Instagram stories so you don't miss out on that, because it is a big step and it's a big change, and I want to share it with you all. But I've needed a while to process it myself. I will love you and leave you all. Have a lovely rest of your day. If you haven't left a review on the podcast, please do so. And if you haven't already gotten on the bandwagon of reading the magazines, I would highly recommend that you do so, because they are only getting better and better as I've been able to have this time to think about how I want to change things so that they can be even better for you all. The magazine is free, and your support and the way that you guys reshare it and everything means that it will continue to operate and it will continue to be free. So please make sure that you are engaging with it and that you are sharing it in X, Y, and Z, because if you don't, then, and we're not, if I'm not getting a high ROI off it, which is a return on investment, then I will drop it. So please make sure that you are engaging, and I will talk to you guys later.